for you listeners of AUK Radio. You there listening? We do have a special guest for you today. Mr. Linus Udofia, Lightning, is here live with us. He's a Luton-based middleweight champion, England's English champion. Wow, it's a privilege for us, for AUK Radio, to have him. How you doing, sir?
I'm very well, man. I'm very, very well. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you to you. You're so busy to have you, but you were so humble to come back to us and reply to our interview guest. How does it do for you, someone like you, to be that so humble?
No, I got to credit that to my parents. I don't look at myself as anything more than anyone else. I just do things differently. I just punch people now and then on TV. I don't do anything different, you know. So no, I don't see it as anything but being yourself, you know. I don't really look outside of that.
To be quite honest, you are hailing from Luton, a champion from Luton here. You are a force to be reckoned within the ring. How come you've got before we go into your huge performance, you know, tell us your journey. You from Nigeria?
Yeah, I was born in Nigeria. Came to England when I was 8. Lived in London for a few months, maybe 9 months, and then moved to Luton. And played a lot of football when I was younger. Played a lot of football, did a lot of athletics. You name it, I was doing, a lot of stuff, 1,800 meters, 2,000 meters, like a lot of athletics when I was younger, and then playing football as well up until about 16, 17, and I started boxing at 17. Fought for a club in Luton, and then, kind of just went on from there. About 3 years later, turned professional. And yeah, the rest is history. I'm sitting here now. You display incredible skills, determination, really, and passion for the sport. And you dare tell us, how does it take to be, a middleweight champion like yourself? A lot of dedication, a lot of sacrifice, and whether that is financially, mentally, emotionally, like all of it, you need to, wherever you want to go, if you want to get quite far in it, you have to be willing to give up, certain things, whether it's time, sleep, money, your health, whether it is, you have to, you have to give up a lot of things to get to this point. And I'm not done yet. I'm still, I still sacrifice every day. I still sacrifice time. I still sacrifice my health every day to do what I do. And it takes a lot of time, a lot of focused dedication, and a lot of sacrifice to be here.
You're still going on a long journey because you're still young. We will come back to it. But tell us, you do have a Nigerian accent. What does it take?
I do, or I don't.
You do not.
No, I don't.
You do not have a Nigerian accent. What does it take? I still have my French Congo's accent. I try my best to kill it, but it's difficult. How does it take to have you wiped it completely?
It depends. It depends who I'm around. Like we said off air, when I'm in a professional setting, I can be who I am right now, where I can adapt and change around, and depending on who I'm around. But I came here young. I came here very young, and I kind of got immersed with the into the British and Western culture, where I do not sound like I was born in Nigeria. I sound like I've born here. I've been here my whole life, but I haven't. I was born in Nigeria, and I still hold a lot of that culture. However, I've grown up in this country. I've grown up here. I've immersed myself here, and when I started working, I was working in the construction industry as well, which aided a lot of how I am and a lot of how I sound and things like that. But I'm very adaptable. When I'm around my family, around my uncles and stuff like that. Yeah, I can relax a little bit and
It's tough, is it? It's tough to switch around Nigerian. You sound Luton. There's a Luton accent.
Yeah.
There is a bit of Cockney there, English.
that's
London.
That's from the construction industry, you know. A lot of that comes from the construction. It just depends who I'm around. It depends who I'm around. If I'm around my family, then yeah, I can, you know, relax a bit. If I'm around my friends, I'm a little bit more Luton. I'm a little bit more Luton, as you say. You know, a little bit more Luton. Yeah, when I'm around other people, you know, the football lot, it gets a bit more Cockney, gets a bit more like that. And when I'm in corporate settings, and it gets a little bit more, you know, Queen's English. But yeah, it's not very hard. It's just
so that's a way for you to access some of the settings, isn't it, around what you do as a boxer.
Of course. However, just in life as well, like I kind of blend into my environment very well because of that, and it's just I don't know. I don't even notice when I'm doing it. I've been in certain situations and I've just kind of blend into that environment, kind of just roll off the back of whatever's happening.
Is that tough to do that?
Yeah, well, maybe at first when I first got here and I couldn't really speak any English. That was really tough when I first got to this country and I couldn't speak a lick of English. But you know, after a few years, kind of getting into my surroundings, it got easier. I don't even think about it when I'm doing it now.
Do you think lost, or where do you think yourself? I believe you go to have you been to Nigeria since you? Yeah,
a handful of times.
I've easily accepted. You feel comfortable when you are on Luton accent, or how does it feel?
No. So when I'm okay, so this is a funny one. So when I'm in Nigeria, when I used to go back, I haven't been back in a few years. When I used to go back, I found it a lot harder to kind of be more Nigerian because I've been here so long now, and my actual natural accent is a Lutonian accent. And when I go there, I have to kind of try and consciously use my Nigerian accent, and when I don't, they look at me completely differently. You know, when I go there, it's like when you said lost, that's a perfect word, because I've been in this country now since 2000. I've been here all of 22 years. So most of my life has been spent in England. However, I was born in Nigeria. That's where I'm from. But what I'm finding is when I'm in Nigeria, when I meet Nigerians, like people that still have their accent or they're immersed there, and like yourself, you know, you've still got a very strong accent and things like that. They don't look at me the same way. They don't look at me like and I feel it, and I don't like, you know, it's not sinister. It's not negative, but I just don't feel
understand,
like, yeah, I understand it,
coming from,
but I don't feel like they look at me like I'm from there. Now, being over here, and I have this accent where I'm, you know, Lutonian accent, at the same time, I wasn't born here. This is not where I'm from. Even though this is where I've made my name, this is where I've lived most of my life, this is still not where I'm from, and I don't feel like people look at me like I'm from here either. So,
but people do accept you. They will accept you more than myself because of your accent. They will identify yourself because you do speak their accent.
Of course. Yeah, no, of course. However, when push comes to shove and you boil it down, I'm still not from here. I wasn't born here. You know, like I'm not from here. I'm 100% Nigerian. So it's a hard place to be. It's kind of a weird purgatory to be sitting in, you know. I'm not sure, like, you know, I'm obviously a Nigerian, but back there no one looks at me like that.
But you're a champion now. You're a middleweight champion, and you represent. Who do you represent when you're on the ring? You know, who do you represent? And you know, sometimes we watch a worldwide tournament. You see a lot of flags, you know, flagging around. Where do you identify yourself?
Yeah, well, you know, I've taken, you know, what I've just said before. I've taken the fact that I feel like I'm in somewhere in the middle. So I've taken that duality and kind of, you know, I wear the flags on my shorts. I kind of wear the Union Jack and the Nigerian flag, you know, kind of just because Nigeria is where I'm from. That's where I was born. That's where my family heritage is. That's where my family name is, and where it comes from. That's where I started my life. That's where I started my early years. However, this is where I've made my name. This is where I've done everything. This is where I found my career. This is where I live my life. So, you know, to answer the question of who do I represent, I'm Nigerian. I'm a Nigerian-born boy in Luton. I represent my family. I represent Nigeria. I represent my family name. And I represent all those that support me. That's where I'm from.
Becoming a champion, it's no small thing. It takes a lot of commitment. Can you take us through how do you do that?
I've got to go back because even nowadays it's just second nature. You've done this for so long. This is just second nature now. I don't even think about a long drive. I train in Essex, so I don't even think about a long drive to Essex. A 1 hour, 45 minutes to 1 hour drive to Essex to train. How long?
What the frequency? Weekly?
Every day.
Every
day. So I go there to train, and then later on I train somewhere else in Aylesbury, which is another 30 minutes. So twice a day I'm training, and just to put the travel time in. That's for a lot of people. That's a deal breaker. A lot of people are like, no, I wouldn't do that. But that's one of my coaches. This is where I go to do my work. This is where I go to train. This is where I go to hone my skills. So just on that factor alone, on that minuscule piece of this puzzle, is that alone, that's the sacrifice there. That's a lot of time on the road, dieting, training, breaking my body every day, twice a day, 3 times a day sometimes, and putting myself in uncomfortable situations, and also the mental aspect of it. It's a lot to then go compete, not knowing if you're going to win or not knowing, what I mean? And the best way I can summarize it is I go back to my amateur days where I was an amateur fighter. I wasn't a professional yet, and I was fighting. I was so active as an amateur. I used to fight every weekend. Wow. I used to fight every weekend, 3-round fights every weekend, whether it's championships, whether it was normal, regional.
He's going to be there.
Yeah, I was going to fight every weekend. And what I used to do was I used to train in the morning, or run in the morning, and then
you have to travel nationally.
No. Yeah, nationally, fighting everywhere. But where my gym was in Luton, and it was like a 15-minute walk away or a 30-minute walk away, I used to just walk in the morning. As I get up before I go to work, I used to get up, do running, do sprinting, do whatever I need to do before I go to work, finish work, come back, train 5 days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'd fight on Saturday. Wow. And then rest on Sunday, and then start again, and do that I did that for 3 years straight.
Wow.
And obviously there was points where, I remember a vivid time where it was just so tiring. It was hard work. And I remember I was running in at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was I was in tears because it was so cold and things like that. And it's hard. It's mentally tough. It pushes you, but then I always saw the bigger picture. I always knew I was going to be here. I was going to be here. I was going to do this. I was going to have my name in lights. I was going to, quote unquote, make it and do better for myself, my family, my country, my town. Do you know what I mean? I wanted to represent something bigger. So I always saw the bigger picture. You deserve it.
It takes a lot of focus and discipline to be there. Behind you are at that time were people, or were just on your own goals before even? I know now you got a team of people, but before you reach that level, wasn't just on your goal that I want to reach that level.
Yeah, of course. It was, it starts with yourself. When I first started boxing, nobody expected anything. I never expected anything. And then I realised how much I really enjoyed boxing, how much I really loved it, and the whole philosophy of boxing. When I started it and I did it for self-defense. It was never to compete. And then when I got told I could compete, I tried it. Even my parents weren't really big fans. African parents, they want you to be a lawyer, doctor, and
you have to have a degree, masters.
Oh, 100%.
I do that for my kids as well.
A doctorate, yeah, 100%. And yeah, no one really was behind me. I can't say nobody because that's not really fair. I had a select few people, nowhere near as much now. Nowhere near. There was nowhere near as many people back then as there is now. Obviously, naturally. However, there wasn't. It was just me at one point, and then my teammates, my coaches really supported. My mum always supported, and the more successful I got, the more people came, which was great. But it was a lot of lonely times, a lot of lonely nights, a lot of training, a lot of birthdays missed, a lot of Christmases, a lot of family stuff, a lot of events, a lot of things, a lot of relationships ruined as well. A lot of relationships with partners, friends, and things like that ruined because Nobody understands how much focus and sacrifice I need to give. I need to give to this to get to where I am. You know, I'm fortunate now that I have the right people in my life. I have the right friends. I have the right people in my life to get to where I need to get to comfortably.
Well done. You had 18 wins, 1 loss, and you stopped 9 of your opponents. That's not easy. How do you prepare because each opponent depends to the style of boxing, isn't it? How do you prepare to that?
There is an element of preparing for the opponent. However, the biggest emphasis that we do in my gym, I can't speak for anyone else, what we do in our gym with my coach and myself is we make ourselves as dangerous, as complete as possible. We try to get rid of all our flaws, so there's nothing for anybody else to exploit, and we try to do what we do well better. We try to fix our flaws, all the things that can get us hurt. We try to fix them, iron them out.
I don't know. That's technical.
We try and make ourselves as complete as possible, so we can deal with anybody that gets put in front of us. So long story short, we try to make ourselves as complete as possible to fight any given situation, any given style, any person.
I know you've got one fight, which is going to be on the 9th of October in Sheffield. 7th October in Sheffield. We'll come back to it in terms of name and people who are listening. Please, Lightning Linus Udofia on the 7th of October in Sheffield. Please. We need to put down our diary, and he need our support. He deserve it. We need a champion such himself here in Luton. This is our pride. Proud in Luton here. You're a big supporter of Luton Town.
Yeah.
I saw you on social media. You quite positive. We were all celebrating when we were qualified for the Premier League, and I saw you all across. So. This is a proud for us, Luton Town, and yourself.
Massive. Oh, this is massive. This is massive. Obviously, we got unfortunate last year. We got knocked out by Huddersfield. It is what it is. It wasn't our season, but this season it was perfect. It was just written perfectly. No one expected anything from us. No one expected. Everyone writ us off. Everyone. No one thought we were going to do it, and I was just proud to been there and to witness something like that in my lifetime. You saw everything, and it's the thing about Luton is just the supporters, the fans. Like, you got old, young, like there's people that will never see this again. They'll never see something like this again, and it's just the support that this town has for what is Luton is special.
So it looked up, the day, I remember it was on Saturday, the day of celebration, the day of parade. I was in Birmingham. I was watching, Sky TV, BBC. Luton was on the news.
Yeah.
I was proud. Say, this is my town.
That's where I'm from.
I was proud. And it's sport put out on the map. So such yourself is as well. Sport is putting you on the map, and it's putting Luton as well, because you're Luton based. And you well connected in Luton. How do you prepare? I know boxing is quite grilling sport, physically and emotionally. How do you handle that? I haven't seen you with your face. You're good looking though. How do you handle that?
It's obviously you have to. There's so many different things. It's not just training. You need to look after your. You need to look after your emotional health, your mental health as well. A happy fighter is a very dangerous fighter, and the hard work that's done in the gym can only be done if you're right mentally, if you're right emotionally, if everything has to go well for it to happen. Everything has to go well. You need to look after yourself. You need to look after your diet. You need to look after your mental health. You need to look after your emotional stability, and you need to look after yourself physically. I've got a very good team around me, as well as I've taken up my own knowledge. I'm a qualified personal trainer. I'm a qualified nutritionist now as well. So right. I've taken, and that was for myself. That was to learn and that was to learn how to supplement what I was doing, so I didn't have to go pay anyone else to do it. And then things like that. Like I needed to learn all these things. And it's very hard and it is very grueling. But I have some of the best teams around me. I have some of the best people around me. I have a really good team that really get me ready to compete, and obviously I have to do the rest. And when I say team, I don't just mean a trainer, a nutritionist, a massage therapist and things like that. I mean an actual therapist, a psychotherapist, a sports therapist, things like that. Like, because you're going into a very hostile environment. You're going into a very hostile situation to inflict damage on another human being. You need to be 100%. You need to ready. You need to be, not, your confidence is a massive thing, so all these things need to be in check. So it's not just your training and your nutrition and this and that and your fitness. You need your mental health on check, you need your emotional health on check as well. So I have a very good team around me, long story short.
So outside the rings, you become an inspiration to many, not just in Luton but in England. And many young people, they've seen you as an inspiration and they would like to follow your steps. What your advice?
It's when I was growing up and I started boxing, it was very clear cut, and there was, I don't know, maybe I was just in a different generation. I don't know what it meant, but it was very clear cut. There was no. We can't swear on this radio, can we? It's a clean radio.
Clean radio.
Okay, there was no BS. There was no rubbish. There was no rubbish out there. A lot of coaches were reputable. A lot of people that gave you advice came from a genuine place. But things are very different now. A lot of people are in it for themselves. A lot of people aren't very genuine. There's a lot of coaches that shouldn't be coaches. A lot of people that try to guide your career that just are in it for the wrong reasons. So I'd say, keep your wits about you. Don't just take it's hard to not, because what you end up being disingenuous and saying that you don't want that they shouldn't just listen to everyone. But just try and get yourself in a good gym, try and get yourself in a good environment. You want to be a professional, not just at boxing or at anything. You want to be successful in anything. You need to put in the work, do your research, study, do a lot of studying. Do a lot of studying. Study your craft, study your sport, study whatever it is you're doing, and put yourself in a good environment. Don't cut corners and listen to your team.
Interesting. Growing up, I was when I was young in Congo. I was born in Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo, French-speaking country. I remember in 1974, there was a big fight. They call it a fight of century. Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. Joe Frazier. One of the biggest fights is still on the memory archive of Congolese. It's remained one of the top. To me, Muhammad Ali is my role model when talking about boxing. And today, I'm in front of another boxer now, who is middleweight champion. Who is your model on your career?
Mine was Roy Jones Junior. He was American all-time great in my opinion. He was one of the, what I really liked, he's the one that got me interested in boxing, because I always knew what boxing was. And then I watched fights here and there. It wasn't anything crazy, but then I watched him fight, not live, but just in general. I just watched some of his highlights, and he was just a phenomenon. He was just the complete package. He had everything. He had power, he had speed, he had footwork. He used to just knock guys out for fun. Like he did things that nobody else did, and that's what hooked me on. And then I got into boxing and learned some things myself, and started studying the game a lot more. And there were people in there like Sugar Ray Leonard, Muhammad Ali, obviously, Mike Tyson, and there were some stories. So like, for pure skill, it was, Roy Jones was my idol. But for the philosophy and actually as a human being, Muhammad Ali is probably one of my idols.
You mentioned family, friends that you managed to bring on your circle, and now the understanding of your career, what you're doing. So how do you manage between your career as a boxing champion and your other life, private life? It's tough, isn't it?
Yeah, incredibly tough, especially when I first started, and not even when I first started, because when I kept myself to myself. It's when I got more popular. It's when I started getting more popular. It was very hard to handle all these different things, but I'm always a big advocate of therapy, and when I started doing a lot of therapy, I realize that you don't always have to be the same kind of person all the time in every single situation and every single setting. So I read this book, and it was a warrior, king, magician, and lover.
Wow.
And so these are your 4 personalities for like success. So
for the
lover, warrior, king, and magician. So the magician, he can make anything appear. He builds confidence. He's the one that builds confidence and make things happen. The king, you're that guy. You're the provider. Everywhere you walk, you have this aura about you. The warrior, that's what gets me into the ring and can tough it out when it gets hard. When it gets in just life in general. When life gets hard, you're driving here and you get a flat tire. You've got to sort this out. When things go wrong, the warrior needs to come out. And the lover, that's for your family. That's for your family. That's for your kids. That's for your wife. That's for all that. You can't be a magician, a warrior. We're a family. You love it. You turn into the lover in front of for your kids and your family and things like that. And you turn into a king when you need to be a king. You turn into a warrior when you need to be a warrior and dig it out and things like that. And you turn into a magician when you need to make things happen. You know what I mean? Make things happen out of nowhere. So that book helped me massively, and that helped just in life, just to kind of, okay, when I get home, I'm this person.
When you're home, you're the king.
Yeah, I'm the king. I'm lover. I'm the king. I chill. I'm relaxed. When I'm in the gym, I'm the magician. I'm the warrior. I'm the king at the same. You know what I mean? You can't be all these people. You can't be all these things in any situation. You can't be a warrior to your kids. You can't. You can't. You know what I mean? You can't do all these. But yeah, that's what helped me. That's what's helped me massively, and I resonate very much with that mindset, as well as that actual book and what his message is.
I think mom, they play a crucial role. My kids play football. They're between 14 and 15. Their mom is. I may miss the training, but she won't. You take them rain, dry, sunny. She always there. Moms play crucial role. I've noticed that mostly on the sports, on young boys.
Yeah, I agree with you. And it's as well as in experience. My mum played a massive role in like where I was, because she will to this day always be my number one supporter, because she literally has been. She sacrificed so much for me to do this. She gave up so much time to support, and as much as I know, when I first started boxing, like I said to you about African parents, they're a bit, when it comes to sport, they don't want you to rely on that. They want you to go get something else. And I'd done that, but even in sport, especially like boxing, if I played football, she would have been like, yeah, that's fine. You don't really get that hurt doing that. Boxing, she did not want me to do that at all. But she came to every single fight she could. She came to, the only fight she didn't come to was when I fought abroad. She came to every single fight she supported. Always heard her, no matter how much she's, no matter how much she worries and things like that. She's a woman of God as well, so she's always praying over me as well and things like that. But and you know what, as well, to an extent, yeah, my dad played, and dads in general play a crucial role. In it's not just, I don't think it's. No,
we're not undermining dads. Yeah, I'm a dad myself, so I play crucial roles as well. But sometimes moms, they go extend. Yeah, they go behind.
They support unconditionally. Yeah. My mum's been a crucial role, a massive crucial role to just, sometimes when things get hard, you look around and you're like, especially in the amateur days, no one supports you. Nobody's there. You're just your coach in this. And sometimes when it got cold, when it got lonely, sometimes you look around, your mum's there. And you know what I mean, you can hear it, and it does just, it genuinely helps a lot more than anybody would understand unless they were in the same situation.
We mentioned few fight, 1974 you mentioned as well. Mike Tyson. Things have changed now, isn't it? That fight at that time up to now, many things are changed in terms of rules, public safety, the rules. What change would you like to see going forward?
That's a broad question. What do you mean? Like, I think the safety of
the public, in terms of safety, in terms of contract.
Yeah, okay, so I'll need to think more about the actual logistics of boxing, in a sense of like, okay, the round timers need to change, there's right hydration clauses need, I mean, things like that. That's I'm gonna answer more politically, in a sense of governing bodies. I think there needs to be one governing body. You know how in football you have the FA?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there needs to be something like that in boxing, where it's a lot more governed as well, like, because there's a lot of corruption.
Is it WBA? Sometimes it's confusing.
That's just one organisation.
It's different.
Like 5. There's so many, but I feel like there should be, like, there's a lot of people that get shafted. There's a lot of people that get screwed over in boxing. There's a lot of corruption. I won't go too much into it, but I feel like the only thing I will say that I'd like to change is, I feel like that whole governing system of boxing should be under one banner, and that will alleviate a lot of the corruption going on, in my opinion.
Great.
That's the only thing I would say about it.
Great. It's quite deep. I know, it's quite deep. We don't want to get into it. But as long as you know what you're doing, you know you're surrounded by good people, you mention them, your coach, your manager, your families and friends, that's crucial, very important. You know, it takes a lot to be a boxing champion like yourself. What motivates you? Because you still need motivation, people around. But what element? I know you mentioned 4 figures here, but there are some things which go beyond that. You need to be surrounded to motivate you to go in the ring and win.
It's always, look, I love what I do. I've ever since I started, this is always what I wanted to do as a career. I know it's not a long career. I know it's not, always guaranteed. However, my motivation is always, I want to get to the top of the sport. I want to be remembered in history books. I want all that there is to take from the sport. I don't want, I will retire from the sport when I'm complete, not when the sport won't retire me. And I want all I can from this sport. I want a world title. I want to be the next one. I want to have that. I want to have that name. I want to leave that legacy behind. Do you know what I mean? That's what keeps me motivated. But it's not about motivation. We all have our motivations, but we have to consistently keep doing what we do every single day to get to where we need to get to. So for me, it's not motivation. I want to be at the top. I'm not at the top yet, so my motivation is not going anywhere. Yeah, I'm not there yet. So but I will get up every day.
But you're halfway through. Come on,
nearly
18 wins.
Nearly there. I'm nearly there. But it's consistency for me. I keep, as long as I keep showing up, keep hitting these numbers, keep getting better. Keep getting better, keep winning my fights, keep doing what I'm doing, consistently doing it over and over again, and try and keep better. That's my goal.
All right, thank you. We're gonna come back. Lightning Linus Udofia is still with us. AUK Radio Special Friday is our guest today. Lightning Linus Udofia is an English champion, boxing champion, Luton based. Come on, he's here. He's here. He is Luton based. He's not London, but he's here. He's in Luton here. We'll come back to you. We're going to have a bit of break for 3-4 tracks which were selected by the production team. That will come back to you. If you are listening to us, you want to ask a question, please do so. Lightning Linus Udofia is still live with us here, AUK Radio Special Friday. You can drop on online. We are on all sort of social media there. Twitter, I think it's still Twitter, isn't it? It's Twitter, I think it's still. It was Bluebird, now it's X Black, but it's still Twitter to me. Twitter, on Facebook, or you can drop us a line as well at info@aukradio.com. We are on Instagram, on TikTok. The production team is there. They listening. They're gonna reply to you. We'll come back to it. Inside Out on AUK Radio Special Friday with Mr. Linus Udofia. Is a Luton. Let me remind you, Mr. Linus Udofia is English Luton-based professional boxer and former English middleweight champion. So thank you. We do a few questions already. I've got Jonathan in Luton here. Jonathan, I think you 17. You dropped us a line of question. You want to ask your question to Mr. Linus Udok. I don't know if you are a boxer, a aspiring boxer, or you're just listening to us. You're curious. You want to ask a question. We'll come back to that. I think that will be one of the last question that our champion live here on AUK Radio want to ask. Tell us, Linus. I like to call you Lightning. I like to keep on that. You lightning our town of Luton here. You're such an inspiration to us. And please, if you're listening, Mr. Linus Udofia he deserve our support. He deserve that because he's halfway through 18 wins, halfway through to become on the top. One of the world champion here, boxer champion in Luton, and I know a UK radio will be traveling around once everything. We do believe that it will happen. Aside for boxing, do you have any other interests, passions that help you unwind and relax?
Yeah, so I play a lot of football. I play a lot of football. Yeah, I play a lot of football and. A lot of gaming as well. I play a lot of games.
Not on a professional not a professional level.
No. I wish.
Because you setting standard on everything you do. So the football you're playing just to relax yourself.
Yeah, just to relax. Obviously I do it for fitness. I do it to keep my fitness going, and I genuinely enjoy it as well. So I play a lot of football. I do a lot of gaming on a PlayStation, things like that, with some friends to unwind. And I play airsoft. It's like a military simulation kind of game, almost like paintballing, but a lot more intense and a lot more serious. So those are my genuine interests. Just mostly it'll be football.
All right, take us through to your upcoming. That was a question asked by Jonathan. He's listening to us right now. He's born and bred in Luton. Take us through to your upcoming fight on 7th October in Sheffield.
I'm just literally working on speaking to my manager about my next fight, and we're getting it together, working for it now. Nothing's confirmed yet. It's not confirmed anywhere. It will be in the next couple of weeks, or couple of days actually. I'm going to be fighting October the 7th on Matchroom card live on DAZN in Sheffield at the Utila Arena on the Josh Warrington Lee Wood undercard against Kieran Conway.
And you're well supported by your sponsors and your coach as well, your managers all around, and you're happy with what you surrounded with.
Oh, 100%. I've got some of the best team around me. Like, I'm so grateful for everybody that is around me. I genuinely couldn't do it without everyone around me. And it's a special shout out to my sponsors, because D&I Family Butchers, who's a local Luton-based company, Luton-based small business that have supported me ever since I put the gloves on.
It's great,
and they've been behind me ever since. I don't even see them as supporters and things like that. They're family to me.
Well done, and well done to them.
Yeah, and a big shout out to them, and Pepe's Peri Peri Chicken, and they've been supporting me for the last 2 years now, and without those two, I couldn't do what I do. I genuinely could not do what I do. They have helped so massively in my career, and I do my best to repay their investment back. With putting their names in the light, making their name synonymous with mine as we both expand and we grow. And just everyone. I don't mean, when I say, it's a special mention, I appreciate everybody in my life, all the way down from my team to actually the people that support me, because you guys coming out and supporting me is it's massive for me. It's absolutely massive for me. You know, having the whole town behind me and things like that, and it's massive for me. You know, it makes what I do easier because I know all these people want me to do well.
You deserve it. As a boxing champion and you Luton based, you deserve it. Lastly, what message would you like to share with your supporters, your fans who have been dedicated following you?
Just a massive thank you. And words can't quantify the gratitude I genuinely feel for the support, because I've had people pay for stuff. I've had people let me stay at their place. I've had people drive me to gym. I've had people do so many things. I've had people build me websites. I've had people sell tickets for me. I've had people pay certain purses when even I wasn't getting paid to fight. I've had people give me money for a purse bid that needed to be won. I've had, I've had people do it off their own back. I've had people support me in more ways than just giving me a good luck or showing up to the fight or watching the fight. I've had so much support throughout my whole life and my whole career. Words genuinely can't quantify my gratitude for everybody. So if I'm gonna leave anything, it's just a thank you. You have no idea how grateful I am.
Definitely.
I am here because of you guys.
Thank you to that. You are on social media. I've seen you quite active on social media. Your team is quite active on social media. Can you share with your fans, your supporters, if they want to get in touch with you or they want to follow you, like you got your fight on the 7th of October, they want to find out more, where they can get in touch with you?
Just all on my social medias, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, Linus _Udofia. Everything you need to know will be on social media. If any more information, hit me up.
Linus, you are a boxing champion. We wish you all the best for your upcoming fight. We know that you're going to make it you are already an inspiration to us here in Luton. Maybe you keep flying. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for you. You've been there listening to us, AUK Radio Special Friday. We're so privileged and honored to have Mr. Linus. I like to call him Lightning Udofia. Is an English world champion, middleweight champion. He's based in Luton here because sometimes we think of going to London, going to Birmingham, but he's here in Luton base. He's going to have his fight. He's waiting for the confirmation. The fight is going to be, if it's confirmed, on the 7th October in Sheffield. Please follow him on Twitter. He's on Twitter, on Instagram. He has his own website. Follow him on TikTok and you get the latest from him. Thank you for your time. We'll catch up with you next time.